Alright guys, we're back in my garage for another episode of the B58 Digest. If you're new to the channel, I use these videos to help keep you updated on the latest developments in the B58 community. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to subscribe to the channel. There will be a lot more of these videos coming out in the future. So today we're going to be talking about the new Pure800 Turbo. And this was just announced by Pure Turbos, and I think a lot of people really didn't see this coming. So when they dropped the news, there were a lot of questions about it. You know, what makes it different from the old one? Is it worth upgrading? So I want to use this video to kind of give you guys all the information that I have, and hopefully this will help you decide if this is the right turbo for you and your build. So the new Pure800 Turbo is different from the old one primarily because it is a completely cast unit. So the old Pure800 Turbo was kind of like the old style of how hybrid turbos are made. Pure bought a stock turbo, modified it, and then installed a bigger wheel into the turbo housing. So when you installed it, it completely looked like stock, fit like stock. It just flowed a lot more air and supported a lot more power. Now this was kind of hard to maintain long term for a couple different reasons. One, most people didn't really like the business model, so some people ended up looking elsewhere because it has a core charge and basically you pay extra money up front and then get a refund when you send your stock turbo. That can kind of hurt your sales a little bit. Also, if you have to take your stock turbo off and send it to Pure Turbo and wait for it to be modified, and that causes a lot of downtime and stuff, a lot of people don't want to go that route either. So it was kind of difficult for some customers to swallow that pill. That also meant that they struggled with supply, especially the past 2 years. Not as many people were driving their cars, so there weren't as many available at junkyards and things like that. And they were kind of struggling to get enough stock turbos in-house to modify and turn them into Pure800s. So I know a lot of you guys have talked about really long lead times waiting for a Pure Turbo to ship. That's basically the reason why. They just didn't have enough of the turbos or maybe other components due to supply chain issues that prevented them from building these turbos. And just in general, the turbo is expensive. It was never really the best value hybrid turbo on the market, so that was always a challenge for them. They leaned heavily on their name because they have a really strong brand, but nobody that's coming for the cheapest or most cost-efficient turbo was going that route. And then finally, just in general, hybrid turbos are not very efficient when they're built in this manner. I've talked about in the past why I prefer full-frame turbos to hybrids, and this is one of the main reasons. Even though you bore it out and you can fit a larger wheel, you're still going to have the same original volume in the compressor and exhaust housing. So it can really limit your airflow and can kind of make the turbo less efficient, have a peakier power band and things like that. So it's just not ideal overall for turbo efficiency. Now the new Pure800 gets around all of that. So what they've done is redesigned it from the ground up, and now they have their own cast compressor housing and their own cast exhaust manifold. So this means that they had all the freedom they needed to design it with the right volumes and the right sizing while still being able to fit up to, a stock intake, stock charge pipe, and stock downpipe. So it will install the same. It does look a little bit different because now it actually has a Pure800 cast into the compressor housing, but other than that, it'll virtually look the same. Now this means no more core charge. So if you're going to buy one, you're going to get it outright and you keep your stock turbo. This also means that the turbo is a little bit more efficient, and what they did, they tested it back to back with the original Pure800, and they found that it made a little over 25 horsepower with the exact same tune. This is on the same car, same fuel, everything's the same, just taking the old Pure800 off and putting the new Pure800 on. Now I know max horsepower isn't the main goal for all of you. Even the original Pure800 supported over 700 horsepower, so that's more than most of us are even shooting for. But even if you're not shooting for all-out power, the new Pure800 also spools a little bit faster as well. So again, this is why a turbo that's designed from the ground up with efficiency in mind is a lot better, because you can get more power and quicker spool. So it's a win-win scenario all around. You'll have better drivability, better efficiency, hopefully lower temps, and just everything all around will be better for your car. Now this is a little bit more expensive than the original Pure800 Turbo. That kind of isn't really an issue since you get to keep your stock turbo, but just keep that in mind. If you're just looking at, the final cash price, you are going to be paying a little bit more for the cast unit. And also they are still offering both the Pure800 and the 850 in this new configuration. Keep in mind the only difference with the Pure850 is it has a 3mm larger compressor wheel. So not a huge difference between the two turbos. If you're more worried about quicker spool, get the Pure 800. If you plan on maxing it out, then you can get the Pure 850. It's really just kind of up to you. In my opinion, it's probably not worth upgrading from the old style to the new style if you already have the old one. For the money that you're spending, you're not going to see a whole lot of gains, especially again if you're already maxed out by your fuel system, making anywhere from 600 to 700 brute horsepower. You're going to make the same power with the new one with slightly quicker spool. So for the money, it's probably not really worth it. But if you're brand new trying to pick out a turbo upgrade for your car, this is definitely a strong contender. Reliability and everything about it should pretty much be the same, if not better, than the old ones, because now it has brand new castings and brand new components instead of modifying somebody's old turbo. So yeah, I definitely think it's a really good option. Also, I forgot to mention, but for everybody out there that has a Gen 2 B58, maybe you have a G Series BMW or an A90 Supra, this will most likely be coming down the pipeline for you as well. So both for 2-port and 6-port cars, keep an eye out for the new cast Pure 800 coming for your platform. They're going to be having the same issues with supply for all the Pure 800 turbos, so I don't see any reason why they wouldn't drop this down for your cars as well. If you guys do have an open order, maybe it's not too late to go ahead and cancel it. It's going to take a long time to get, and it's probably worth just upgrading to the cast manifold units when those come out. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions or comments, leave them down below.